Hello everybody, welcome back to a Pokemon Sun and Moon Wi-Fi battle in the OU tier. This time we're taking on Retro from Pokemon Battle Discord server. There is a server dedicated for Pokemon battles, which a lot of people are on. So if you guys are interested in finding battles more often and at any part of the day, I'll definitely leave an invite server link in the description below if I can. So yeah, so he was asking for OU battles. He did not say he was going to do monotype. I just figured he wanted a random OU battle. So I replied with yes. Went ahead and built a team with just some fun mons that I had not used as much this generation. I have an offensive Rotom Wash with choice specs, which is pretty cool. Sorry, excuse me. I am running the trick as well, just to neutralize some bulkier threats. Sorry, kind of just slowed down there. Mega Glalie, which I have not touched at all since pre-bank. Pretty cool mon just to deal with Landorus and Garchomp and stuff like that, which this team kind of struggles with. You know, I do have Rotom Wash, but you know, I just wanted that cool Mega to use. Choice Scarf Heatran, which is pretty nice. I've not touched offensive Heatran ever. I actually never used offensive Heatran ever before, so I wanted to try it out. Running Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, or Earth Power, HP Ice. Superior, which I've not touched at all since pre-bank as well. And 5th gen, pretty much. Running the subs, Leech Seed, Leaf Storm, and HP Fire. Fully offensive, Timid, Superior. Swords Dance Mimikyu with the Fairy MZ, Play Rough. I have not used Mimikyu too much, so it's pretty fun to try out. Because, you know, it's a pretty cool mon with Disguise, and it can set up pretty much almost on anything, as long as I don't have Mold Breaker. And then I have Defensive Donphan, which is cool, because it's my Mega Metagross check, and it's very bulky, and I have not touched it at all. And it's my Stealth Rocker and Rapid Spinner, acting both in one mon. So, looking at his team, Mono Fairy, of course. Heatran definitely just walls his team, except Azu. So, keeping that around is definitely important. Ninetales getting a Board Veil is very annoying. He'll probably end up leading with that, if not Klefki. Maybe even Azu to threaten out a potential Heatran lead, but so let's go ahead and jump into this battle. Definitely keeping Heatran as a key, and injuring his steel types like Klefki and Magearna is kind of important as well. Keeping Donphan around for those is important too. So hopefully this battle ends up being entertaining for you guys, and let's go ahead and jump into it right about now. So here, I went ahead and led with Rotom Wash because he had no ground type, but I definitely should have led with my Heatran because I could have easily threatened out Ninetales, if not just one-shot it with Flash Cannon, because there's no way he would predict me to be Choice Scarf. And so, as you can see, I mean, my Rotom Wash is Roshiwashi. I just figured it'd be a fun nickname for it, because, you know, there's actually a real mon named that now. So, here he goes for Orveil. Definitely should let Heatran to prevent this at all from happening, because he was more than likely Light Clay. I doubt he was Focus Sash, so here I just clicked the Specs Volt Switch, which actually does a pretty good amount of damage through Orveil, so I can't complain about that damage. Although I can just go into Heatran here and just Revenge Kill with an easy 4x super effective Flash Cannon and knock out the Ninetales. As you can see, I take some hail damage. I was actually tempted to run Eruption over Flamethrower, but I figured I'd be taking rocks a lot and spikes, so I figured just run Flamethrower. So here I'm able to knock him out easily with a Flash Cannon. Unfortunately, he can bring in his Azu for free now on an Orveil, and he really can't touch it. So I was really afraid he would go for Belly Drum here and just start, you know, making holes on my team. I did have my checks. I have Superior, which tanks the Aqua Jet at +6, and then I have Azumarill as well. So here I go, I mean, not Azumarill, but Rotom Wash. So here I go right into Rotom Wash as he actually clicks the Superpower. So at this point, I knew I could tank Superpower, but it actually just one-shot on my Rotom Wash. So he was actually Choice Banded from what I knew there, which wasn't too bad because I'd rather deal with a Choice Banded set than a Belly Drum set. And honestly, Belly Drum made more sense on this team, seeing as how he had Orveil and support with Klefki, but I guess he wanted to run Banded. So here I go for Leaf Storm, just to get damage off. I knew I can live a neutral superpower. Neutral because he's Banded, and then he lost the attack, so Leaf Storm does actually a pretty good amount of damage to the Orveil. I guess he's not running too much health investment from what I can tell with that. Although I'm not sure on the calc on what that would be, so as you can see, the superpower doesn't do too much, and I can just go for Leaf Storm again and start tearing holes through his team. I mean, if he wants to go into Mimikyu after this and break his Disguise, because I can take a Shadow Sneak from that thing as well. So at this point, there's really no worries. I can start breaking his team down. As he goes right into Mimikyu, which is questionable on his part. I mean, it wasn't really a bad play because he definitely needed Azu for Heatran, so I definitely understand that play, but I don't understand him going to Mimikyu. I mean, he definitely shouldn't have stayed on a Superior in the first place on the first superpower. But I mean, I guess he just wanted to make a dent in Superior. But he actually did have the red card on the Mimikyu, which was interesting. I've actually never used items like that or even like the eject button. So I guess it was interesting for him. The hail luckily does stop that turn. That way it prevents my Donphan from losing its 30, even though I have leftovers. I kind of wanted to run Rocky Helmet, but the leftovers is important for Donphan. Just keeping that 30 intact. So he goes for SD as I get on my rocks just to get chip damage on Azu and Sylveon as well. Doesn't really matter too much for the Klefki and the Magearna. As he goes for the Shadow Claw, which really doesn't do anything at +2. Donphan's very tanky. Yeah, I guess he was predicting Heatran to come in, but I really wasn't going to risk Heatran at all because it's my Widcon against his team. So I didn't want to take any unnecessary damage. And Donphan, although it does take care of Klefki and Magearna, well, not really Magearna because I'm not running Assault Vest, but I really didn't need to risk it. So I have my own Mimikyu to deal with it. I have my own Heatran. I can pretty much deal with it as well. So really didn't need to risk anything. So I'm just spamming Earthquake. And even though he has an Aurora up, it's still doing a pretty good amount of damage, chipping it away. And Aurora finally goes away, telling me he definitely had Light Clay because Hail went up before the Aurora. So I go for Ice Shard here, just the last chip damage before he knocks me out with Shadow Claw or Play Rough. But he's still going for Shadow Claw, which, I mean, if he went for Play Rough, it definitely would have knocked me out, I think, or came closer to knocking me out. But he was trying to read the Heatran. That's what he was telling me. He was trying to read the Heatran, but I mean, I told him I wasn't going to risk it. So he goes for Shadow Sneaks and attempts to knock me out, but it actually doesn't knock me out. So +4 Shadow Sneaks not doing much to me, so I can actually knock out the Mimikyu with my Donphan. Okay, so I get my leftovers recovery here. Donphan really isn't doing any more in this game because it's already too low of health as he goes into his Sylveon. I thought he would go into Magearna here to get off the Soul Heart, the boost, or whatever it's called. That's what it's called, right? The +1 special attack boost, but he actually didn't do that as he goes for Wish. So I should have known it was a defensive Cleric set because he doesn't have any Cleric on his team. And judging from this Earthquake damage, definitely is defensive set. Even though Donphan has, I mean, even though I don't have any attack investment, or not much attack investment, definitely should have been doing more than that. So goes for Wish. I really didn't want him going to a Azumarill to get him back to full. And even if he did stay in and go for Hyper Voice, I mean, I'd rather lose Superior and keep Azu at low than losing Superior and then keeping Azu at high health. So it was a 50-50, and it was a win-win for me because if he went for Hyper Voice and killed Superior, it didn't really matter as long as Azu didn't get health back. So, and obviously, if he did go into Azu, I can tank an Aqua Jet. I can just probably one-shot him with the Leaf Storm. So it was okay. It was an okay sack for me. So here I go into my Mega Glalie, which is my best way of breaking through this thing. I didn't want to go into my Heatran immediately because I do want to save it. Even though Hyper Voice would have done like 2 damage, I definitely should have went to Heatran, but I just didn't want to, bring it in. So here I go into Haley, just trying to nuke it with a return, and he goes for Protect, just probably trying to scout if I do have the Explosion to nuke it. And if I had Explosion, I definitely would have went for it. Not immediately, but I definitely would have went Return and then Explosion. But I'm actually running Freeze Dry and Ice Shard and Earthquake along with Return. So here I go for Return, just to engage the damage. I'm expecting it to do like 60%, but it only does around 55%. So it's definitely telling me he is a defensive set. Because I definitely think it should be doing more, even though Glaciate Refrigerate did get nerfed this gen. As you guys know, those Refrigerates, those Pixelates, those got nerfed, becoming a 1.2 power rather than 1.3 power. It may have been 1.4 actually, but it was 1.3 for sure. So here he goes into Magearna after his Wish. I definitely wanted to click Earthquake there, but it really didn't matter because if I clicked Earthquake, it would have done 50%, and then he would have healed up all with health anyway. So Return was the safe play for me. And here, I really don't need this thing for anything. It can't really break through. I mean, it can break through Klefki, but getting damage off on this thing is more important to get it in range for Heatran. So go for the Earthquake. It does around 50%. Not bad. As he goes for the Aura Sphere, trying to catch the Heatran as well. And I honestly thought I would tank this, but I didn't. So I was assuming he was Choice Specs Magearna. Although I'm not really sure on the calc on that. Maybe he could have killed me with Assault Vest. I don't know. But he does go for the Aura Sphere, trying to catch my Heatran. So here I go into Heatran. I'm fairly certain the Flamethrower can kill an Assault Vest and Magearna, but I'm not sure if it would have. So I'm thinking this was Choice Specs Magearna. Again, I'm not too sure. If you guys know, let me know. But it really didn't matter. I knew it would be safe just to go in there and kill it. So here he goes on Azu. After the rocks, he's still going to live, and he could threaten me out with a Banded Aqua Jet. It probably wouldn't kill me, but there's really no reason to get damage on this thing when it's my win con. So here I go into my Donphan to sack it off, because I do have it in the back to sack it. Pretty much the reason why I saved it. So after the Jet, I can go into my Mimikyu and attempt to set up on this thing and win the game, because I do have my Disguise intact. I can SD up and go for the Shadow Sneak to knock it out. I would have went for Shadow Sneak immediately, but it wasn't able to knock out the Azumarill from that range, at least from the calc I looked at. So I went ahead and just let the disguise get broken and get on my SD, and then SD Shadow Sneak would knock out the Azu, leaving his last 2 mons with Sylveon and the Klefki. Klefki could have been annoying with the Thunder Waves, but I had to risk it and just go for SD anyway. I do have my Fairy Z still intact, so I could definitely save that for either nuking the Klefki to put it in range of Scarf Flash Cannon, or nuking the Sylveon to knock it out. But as you can see, he goes right for Klefki here. I'm assuming he's going to want to go for the Thunder Wave just to try to get some para hacks and break me down. If he didn't have Flash Cannon, I would have been okay here. If he just had Play Rough, that'd be fine. Although Play Rough would have been doing a good amount of damage. But he just got the para hacks there that turn as I try to go for the Shadow Claw there. Those guys lefties back, so I knew I could take two Flash Cannons because the Mimikyu's nice base special defense, but I just wanted to get damage off on this thing so my Heatran can win, because I was kind of worried because if he para hacks me and I couldn't get him in range of Scarf Flash Cannon, it would have been an issue because there's no way I was able to knock this thing out and then deal with Sylveon. So fortunately, I am able to get off the the Shadow Claw at +2 onto the Klefki, doing a lot of damage there. So I just go for Shadow Sneak to get in range of the Flash Cannon, but it actually doesn't knock out the Klefki, which I did not expect looking at that Shadow Claw damage. But Shadow Claw's base attack isn't too high anyway, so I shouldn't have been surprised. Here he goes to the Sylveon. I wanted to click my Fairy Z move here, I think, but he goes for Protect. But fortunately, I get paralyzed on this turn, so I did not waste it. Kind of similar to what happened against to Mo the other day on the other battle, but fortunately I did get paralyzed there. He should definitely risk it the first turn if we wish, but here I go for it again just to get it off. I knew I was faster because paralyzed doesn't lower your speed as much as it did last generation, but here I'm able to finish out the battle with a Twinkle tackle with my Mimikyu. I mean, even if I'd lost Mimikyu to this thing, Flash Cannon was going to do a lot to Sylveon, and Hyper Voice would have done like 3 damage, so it really didn't matter. But ending the battle in style with Mimikyu was fun, especially since this is what the team was built around, Mimikyu. So good game to Retro. It was really an interesting match. Definitely was a lot more difficult than I anticipated, being a mono type team. But you know, I played it smart. It was really just a fun, casual game. This game wasn't really as competitive as my other ones, knowing that I had Heatran in the back always just to win the game at any point. So I mean, regardless, it was a fun game. And of course, these Citra battles are always nice to watch. I hope y'all enjoyed. Definitely be back for some more battles. Hopefully, y'all leave some some Pokemon suggestions for our team to build around, or maybe you have some ideas for like giveaways I should do, because I'm definitely tempted to give away some Pokemon in celebration of this like Citra revolution now. But hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll be back for more later. Take care, guys.